1960, days after the Great Chilean earthquake shattered cities and reshaped coastlines, an engineer named Felipe Andrade returned to the ruins of a small AM radio station in the hills outside Valdivia. The building had collapsed, its antenna bent like wire, but inside the basement archive, a single reel-to-reel recorder remained intact, covered in dust, still plugged in, still recording.
The reel contained static, as expected, but at precisely 4:17 a.m., a voice appeared. Female, whispering, in Spanish.
Once every cycle, they will listen.
The engineer dismissed it as radio interference, perhaps a distorted transmission bouncing from a military frequency. But the tone, measured, calm, deliberate, didn't match anything in the public or encrypted spectrum. He archived the tape. He told no one.
10 years passed.
In 1970, another engineer named Luis Zamora was restoring old audio equipment for a university in Santiago. The old Valdivia tapes were shipped in for calibration. At 4:17 a.m. on the same date, May 27th, Zamora noticed that his monitoring equipment registered a sudden spike in frequency on an unused channel, 1217 kilohertz.
He tuned in, and again he heard her. This time, the river is not water, it remembers. Zamora, a rational man, recorded the signal and traced its origin, but 1217 kilohertz was inactive. There were no known transmitters assigned to it. Worse, the audio was identical in quality and amplitude to the decade-old recording. No degradation, no background hiss. It was as if time had looped.
And so he began to search.
Between 1970 and 1980, Zamora gathered reports from hobbyist radio operators, old men with makeshift antennas and shortwave gear, who described similar incidents. Always on 1217, always May 27th, always at 4:17 a.m. Most dismissed it as coincidence, some called it a hoax, a few never spoke again.
In 1980, Zamora returned to Valdivia. He set up a small mobile lab near the remains of the original station. The night of May 26th, he stayed awake, eyes on the dial. At exactly 4:17 a.m., the signal came alive again. This time, the voice whispered,
"You've come too far. Go back." Then silence. Zamora became obsessed. He mapped the frequency's range, traced atmospheric conditions, and began cataloguing each appearance. In 1990, the signal changed for the first time. The voice didn't speak, it sang. 3 notes rising slowly, like a lullaby. It lasted 17 seconds, then stopped. Zamora played the audio for linguists and physicists. No one could identify the melody, but a specialist in Andean folklore claimed it matched a pattern carved into a pre-Columbian stone disc recovered from Tiwanaku, a site over 2,000 kilometers away. The signal grew colder.
In 2000, the transmission returned with no voice, but a rhythmic pulse, not musical, not mechanical. Analysts compared it to the cardiac rhythm of a sleeping newborn. The sound looped exactly 3 times, then cut off. By 2010, Zamora had published a limited journal about the phenomena. He titled it, "The Frequency That Waits." He included spectrograms, magnetic field measurements, and time logs. He never made conclusions, only questions.
That same year, on May 27th, a graduate student monitoring 1217 kilohertz heard something new. "This is not for you." Then a sudden burst of white noise that reportedly caused her equipment to overheat and fail. The incident was dismissed as hardware malfunction. The university closed the project. The recordings were locked in a vault. In 2020, at the height of a global pandemic, a Chilean radio hobbyist named Mateo Rivera began live streaming forgotten frequencies from his garage in Concepcion. On May 27th, thousands of listeners tuned in as he attempted to capture the legendary 1217 signal. At 4:17 a.m., his screen went dark, but the livestream kept going, and for 43 seconds the world heard the voice again. "You've opened the gate, now you must listen." The stream ended abruptly. Rivera never posted again. His account was deleted, his equipment was confiscated by unidentified officials. All contact ceased. Since then, several independent listeners have attempted to capture the signal again, some with success, most with silence. But the pattern holds.
May 27th, 4:17 a.m., 1217 kilohertz. No transmitter, no source, just presence.
Today, the frequency remains quiet, except on that one night. Researchers speak of it in hushed tones. Official records omit it entirely, and yet the tape from 1960 still exists, now digitized and shared in secret forums. Each time the voice speaks a little clearer, not louder, not closer, just more certain. Once every cycle, they will listen, and maybe one day she will say more.